Hi, this is Annika. I am at Fairy Falls in the Pacific Northwest, um, catching a little break in the rain uh, to talk a little bit about something that I hear all the time. Um, I I've been told many, many times by different people that I am invalidating their experience or invalidating the experience of somebody they know or of an entire group of people, like invalidating the experience of people of color, of transgender people, of non-binary people, etc. And I thought about this a lot, what it means to invalidate someone's experience, because I've certainly had my experience invalidated a lot. I've been told, I've been told that I can't trust what's real and that I should, outsource my sense of reality to someone else. So that's a topic that's really dear to me. Um, and There's a difference between someone's experience and someone's interpretation of their experience. So, for example, I was raised in a conservative Christian community, but also a charismatic Christian environment, so like Pentecostal, basically. And I had some very, very profound spiritual experiences um, from a very young age. And at the time, I was absolutely convinced of my belief and my understanding of who God is and how the world works according to my understanding of the Bible. So when I shared my experience, I shared it in those terms. So, I'd speak of the Holy Spirit and, God was present, or God spoke to me, or, when I heard the voice of God, or when Jesus came to me and told me, to do this, or what have you. And when someone disagreed with my framework, so when someone said, well, I don't believe in Jesus, or I don't believe that God speaks to people today, it felt like it was completely invalidating my experience. So, it felt like that person was telling me that what I felt and all these really meaningful things that had happened in my life weren't real, and that I was crazy or imagining them. Um, later, later, I started to think in terms of multiple frameworks. So someone can have the same experience but bring a different interpretive framework to that experience, right? So something where I might say, God came and spoke to me. Somebody else might say, oh, I had a really strong intuition, or I got a download from the universe, or, like the goddess spoke to me, or some other deity or entity, depending on their worldview. And I don't have to agree with their worldview. I can still believe that my worldview is correct and theirs is incorrect. But I came to realize that just because someone doesn't share my interpretive framework doesn't mean that they're telling me that my experience isn't real. It just means that they interpret that experience differently than I do. Now, if I'm in a place where the only way I can hold my experience, the only way I can validate that experience for myself is through my framework, then any disagreement with my framework feels like an attack on the experience itself. And that's neither good nor bad. It's not wrong. It's just a stage of development. There was a time when I couldn't see that a different belief system in someone else was not the same thing as an invalidation of my experience. It felt like the same thing to me, and I believed it was the same thing to me. And so that's something I'm seeing a lot today when I'm being told that I'm invalidating someone's experience. What normally happens is that I just have a different interpretation of their experience. I would just frame it differently.